Hello and welcome to another video. Today I want to explore a little bit with you together a brand new, well, not glitch necessarily, but useful glitch that has been on for quite some time. Community member 𝐺𝐻𝐿 has posted this morning on August 17th to the Metal Gear Speedrunners Discord a cool finding he made. And that is that using several glitches and the fact that our inventory gets emptied when we go to the torture, and then of course refilled when we get out of the torture chamber, allows us to get infinite ammo. Yes, glitched infinite ammo instead of a cheat, which is something that speedrunners can use. This is not a cheat in the sense that it's not allowed for the rules. We can actually get infinite ammo. So let's take a look into the details, how this all works, and especially also, of course, how we can get to that state. First of all, you got to know a couple of things, so I'm going to hand it over to Explanation House to tell you how it all works. Alright, so first we're in the game here, and as you can see, I'm here in the cell before even the 80% skip. I have just 2 out of 3 chaffs in my hand, and of course I have the regular items that I have with me here. And so what we have to do first is, we're gonna go and unequip our chaff. Actually, what I can do, it says I can also get rid of one here. Unequip the chaff, and I'm gonna go to my scope here. One of the fascinating things that the PC version from 2000 does is actually allowing us a few things that the normal console version does not allow. Even the Master Collection version on PC is just the console version because it's technically running an emulator for PlayStation 1, so keep that in mind. This is only for the 2000 released PC version. In any case, what we want to do is we're going to put on the scope, and we're going to use a feature that's exclusive to this mode as well, where we can use the number keys here. As you can see, I can press these keys, and then this will actually allow us to get a weapon in hand without using the menu here. Because as you can see here, I'm tapping actually R2 and nothing comes up. I go out of the scope to be able to pick a weapon here. I can go into a weapon and then equip the scope, but I can also not unequip it anymore, as you can see here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put on the scope while nothing is active in a weapon slot. And now we're going to put in a weapon with the weapon hotkey. Got to press 9 here to get the chaff in hand. And what's fun is in this mode here, with the scope active, we are forced in FPV, right? There's another feature that's also present in the PC 2000 version, and that is the ability to walk around in FPV. So if I double tap triangle in this version of the game, and only in this one, I'm not just going into FPV, I'm going permanently into FPV. And as we can see here, I'm able to walk around in first-person view, and I can explore Shadow Moses basically from this perspective, which is really cool. This used to be a feature that's only present in the Japanese re-release of Metal Gear Solid 1 called Metal Gear Solid Integral. And it was not present in any other version of the game, except for, well, as we can see here, the old PC version, which is also called Metal Gear Solid Integral, because it's technically a recreation of that Japanese re-release of the game. So we have the scope. We're going to put a weapon on a hand with the weapons menu here. And I'm going to use the 9 as a hotkey for chaffs. And then we're going to double tap triangle to go into permanent FPV. But because we're already in FPV, this will happen. So we're technically still in the scope, right? As you can see here, I'm like looking around, and you can even see Snake how it's like able to turn and just look up and down, which is normally not possible here. But at the same time, we're also able to walk around by holding forward, which is the feature that, of course, this FPV mode allows. And this allows even for funky stuff like this, where we're like leaning all the way back, but we're technically able to run forward. So that alone is a lot of fun. I mean, just look at him. But that's not the feature that we're going to talk about here. So we're going to just unequip the scope here, unequip the weapon, and we go back to the regular state. Like nothing has changed. It's just a weird coincidence. This instance of equipping the scope, putting a weapon in hand, and double tapping triangle, that's called the headless scope glitch, because as we can see here, Snake is, well, without a head. We beheaded Snake, oh my god. And from this state here, what happens if we throw a chaff? So I'm going to just throw this chaff here. And as you see, like expected, the ammo count for this chaff goes from 1 to 0. But what happens next is the next level of this glitch. So I'm going to hold the chaff in hand, I'm going to cook it until it explodes in my hand. And what we see is that the chaff does not get removed here. In fact, we should not even be able to cook a grenade at all because we have 0 grenades in our inventory. But thanks to this weird glitch state with the scope and being headless, the game allows us to use like throwable items. So what does this mean? We have chaffs, stuns, and regular grenades that we can throw here. And with this method, we can get, well, chaffs that are technically infinite, because now, as we see, it just says 0, and it just is these duds here. But because these are duds, we cannot actually throw them, right? That's a kind of shame. So how do we get actual usable chaffs from this state here? This is what 𝐺𝐻 found out, and apparently this was also known from people like Tromboncino, who have been exploring the old PC version for like a decade almost. So if you unequip the scope now, we still have the chaff in our hand here technically. And if I try to throw it now, nothing happens still. It's still a dud. So as we see here, the grenades are of no use in this state here. We can technically have them infinite, but like nothing happens, right? If I unequip them here, I once again go to scope, chaff. I'm gonna toss this last one so I have 0. Alright, first I gotta go double tap triangle. So I toss this chaff now, and now I'm gonna cook this grenade here in order to get it to the negative stage. Wow, I'm gonna try to walk with it, it just doesn't want to do. This state is weird. Let me just unequip the scope. I'm gonna go here, and we're gonna do another glitch. This is entirely something else. This is where we go into event, hold FPV, look up in FPV, control here. So I look up in FPV, and as I let go of FPV, I press X to quickly stand up. And then Snake stands up where its feet are, and that is actually out of bounds. I'm gonna go here now and walk into the door that we normally use to leave the torture cell here. And we're gonna actually enter it. And the game actually goes in here and then puts us right in the cell. So normally when we enter this segment here in a regular run, like all bosses, for example, where we don't glitch through the vents, we go first through the torture sequence with Ocelot, and that is actually the trigger to take our inventory away, right? And so we reach this room here with our inventory intact, and we can still not throw the grenades here, right? We still have them in my hand, but nothing works. So we're gonna go down here under the bed. We're gonna do the regular version that we do in 80%. And remember all the while to not touch your inventory. Do not unequip this weapon. We want to keep this glitch state as it is until our inventory gets taken away. Alright, so we're gonna skip all of this. Give up. I'll just submit to the torture here.
You win.
Alright, so we're back in the cell now. We have nothing in inventory. Now we can actually touch our inventory again because as you see back there, actually... Oh, wait, hang on. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. As you can see here, back all the way there, this turning box, that is our inventory. Now, this has been actually filled with all the stuff that we have here. So if I try to open the menu, there's nothing here, right? And we need to wait for Otacon to come by to give us the ketchup so we can use our first method of breaking out of the cell here. This is a good way to gotta wait here for Johnny to walk all the way back and forth, but it's almost done, so let me just fast forward a little bit.
Shut up!
And here's Otacon.
Oh, jeez.
Alright, time to leave, as we normally do.
Wait.
Put on the ketchup, let it be used up. Put on our card, unequip the card, and then once Johnny comes back, opens the door, we're gonna choke him out and then leave. And then we're gonna retrieve our stuff. Alright, now that Johnny's dead, I'm gonna go get our stuff. I don't have a second item here, so I cannot do the shuffle before the door as we normally would. But as our stuff is being handed back to us, we just go to a safe space here. Alright, and so as we can see at the end here, if I put now the chaff in my inventory, I can walk around and I can just toss these chaffs infinitely and they actually work again. They're not just duds. For some reason, with the whole method that we just explained here, once the weapons and items leave our inventory to be, packaged in that box there, when we get it back again, this glitch state actually opens up, and so we have infinite ammo, but actually usable grenades instead of what it was before, where they're not usable. Quite fascinating. So, you may think, oh, we need the vent glitch and can only do this trick now in 80%. Let me be clear here. This also works in the all bosses category where we don't use the vent glitch to go into the cell. We just are here in the underground passage right now, as we would after Wolf 1. Now I'm gonna glitch the normal way, so we're gonna wrap around here. I'm gonna use God Mode exploit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna lie down here, and I'm gonna double tap, trying quickly to get rid of the GME glitch. I'm gonna unequip the weapon here, scope, 3, double tap triangle, and then throw this last grenade out. I'm gonna cook this grenade here. I'm not gonna get damaged here this time because we are in GME still. I'm gonna unequip the scope here, hook yet another grenade. And now I'll just walk down and get caught. So our glitch grenade is now in our inventory. And we just go through the torture sequence as normal. We get here, get our stuff taken away, we give up, we escape the cell, and then once we get out of the cell, our glitch grenades are fully functional and infinite in its quantity. So, I'm gonna come back to that later. Alright, and now as we get our stuff here, I'm gonna switch to my grenade, and as we can see, they're fully functional, they're infinite, I got enough to roll it. I can even unequip and re-equip them now because they are actually in our inventory. They do not get deleted. And the vent glitch was not necessary for that. It's just the fact that these glitch grenades, once they get taken away from us during the torture sequence and we get them back in the inventory afterwards, then they're infinite and also fully functional. So, just to clarify that point. Alright, so how is that useful? Well, we can actually use these glitch grenades now in a couple of rooms at least. Stuns, for example, are great when we go up to do the Boba Skip, as we know that we can deload the guards on our way to that door, and actually allows us to get through the door a little bit quicker. Another cool thing, for example, for the all bosses category is that if we go through the game in all bosses now, we do not get the 𝐇𝐚𝐮. The 𝐇𝐚𝐮 is a key item that we actually need normally for the rooms before fighting the ninja, and we also have a strategy where we fight Raven with the 𝐇𝐚𝐮 around the corner. However, of course, in the PC 2000 version where we have God mode versus Raven, we just stand in front of him. Which leads us to a cool thing that we can actually do here. In the PC 2000 version, because of God mode exploit, we can also use the cool grenade method on any of the difficulties. The grenade method normally just works on easy difficulty, maybe normal if we just have enough rations. But thanks to God mode exploit, of course, we can use this grenade method as well for hard and extreme. Only trouble is that, of course, we need a little bit more ammo for Raven here with grenades. But considering that we now have infinite grenades as an option, that is quite useful. And don't forget, of course, we're also going to use grenades here in Tower B when we go down again after the hunt. And at least I like to use grenades there to get rid of these turrets when we go down in Tower B again. What's the elevator? Alternative, of course, you can also use the chest infinitely, but I don't think infinite chest is as useful as, for example, the stuns can be in some applications, or infinite grenades actually. So now we just need to explore a little bit more. Because here's the thing, the option to delete a grenade from our inventory that then also leads to just the whole weapon be deleted is also a key feature of the so-called weapons glitch, which is something that we use, for example, in the console 80% run. After we grab the stinger, we go all the way down to trigger the cutscene where it just says, damn, and go up again. Before there's the elevator cutscene with Autocon, we want to delete the stinger to confuse the game. There we're going to use a glitch called the weapons glitch, where we lie down, have an explosion, toss us to the side. In this moment, we unequip an item, hold FPV and mash randomly our buttons. And that leads to the game being confused and allows us going from any of the grenades that we have to go a different weapon. Ideally a weapon that allows us to go into FPV, such as the stinger. And now here's the fun fact. We do use the ammo for the stinger, but we actually throw grenades. And similar to how this headless scope glitch allows us to go into negative ammo for grenades, that same can also be done here now for the stinger. So we use technically grenades for the game, but use the ammo for the stinger until we hit less than 0 ammo for the stinger, which then will lead to the weapon being deleted. Because the fact there is, if you have less than 0 ammo for a weapon, it's technically considered not in the inventory and gets removed. And in the context of Tower B, just before the Autocon cutscene, this allows us to bypass this elevator, but the boxes were not active anymore, because technically we entered, of course, the whole elevator with the stinger still active, because the devs never intended for us to delete the stinger midway through going up from Tower B. So that way we can use it as a first part to skip the hind. The whole history of how to skip the hind there is definitely worth a separate video, which I'll do in the future. But for now, we're just going to leave it here with the weapons glitch. Fact still is, speedrunners have for a long time already been able to delete weapons from their inventory with this method of confusing the game using grenades, but the ammo from a weapon such as Stinger or FPV or any other gun really, and then get rid of that gun. Now we can use the same thing exactly with grenades, but we don't even need anything else anymore. We don't need to like down for an explosion like that. We just need to use the scope and headless scope glitch, which again sadly is limited to the PC 2000 version only. And then we can even get infinite grenades through the process of the torture, having our stuff being taken away from us and being put back into inventory. And then these glitch grenades actually are usable again. quite fascinating. Thank you so much, JN, for sharing your finding. And I'm certain this is not the last that we'll see of you. And I'm certain we're also getting brand new world records with these findings more and more. So that's it for today, at least for this video. I hope you liked the explanation and the little quirky things that especially the PC 2000 version can do. And one last note, this weapons glitch, by the way, works for console, but this headless scope glitch sadly only works for the PC 2000 version. So who knows, maybe at some point we can also do something that's similar to that, but for now at least, that's all we have for today for you. Thank you so much for watching and have a nice day. Bye-bye.